Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Camper Cola's workshop. This is part 2 of my test looking at prosthetic feet. In the part 1 video I think I explained that I would be looking at different types of feet, testing them for certain motions, and I would be selecting ones that I felt were the best performing. The reason I want to do that is because I'm looking for the perfect foot combo, knee joint combo for myself. So part of the test is I'm going to look at how the feet react with the current setup in terms of prosthetic leg that I have. So I have widened the test a little bit from what you saw in the first video because I've now got a hydraulic foot which I'm interested in testing, and that particular foot very much works on the principle of a hydraulic dorsiflexion and plantar flexion hydraulic system, and that's quite interesting. So we'll have a look and see how dorsiflexion and plantar flexion, that's basically the up and down movement of the foot, how it's enhanced by using this hydraulic system here. So some of the other some of the other feet have a similar movement as well. So we'll be looking at that on this test rig that I showed you in the last video. Okay. So there's two things. I'm going to have a look at how the feet perform, and I'm going to look at a combo for myself. Now, the combo that I prescribe myself is a 3R80 Ottobock 3R80 knee joint with a Ottobock Delta twist on it. And the reason I like the 3R80 is because it's hydraulic, so it means that you can, if you can, physically go leg over leg downstairs with this knee joint, and also it's very good for slopes. So it also gives you very much a steadier and easier walk down a slope. And you can see this particular hydraulic joint, which is adjustable for being triggered by your weight, extension and flexion, and also inside here is alteration. You can alter the movement of the hydraulic fluid, which obviously alters the movement of the knee joint, although that's not that does depend on heat, very much so, as to whether the hydraulic fluid is as thinned, and therefore obviously the knee joint moves much quicker than if it were colder, and the hydraulic fluid is thicker and cooler. So you do have to take that into account, and obviously there's not an electronics in this to do that, but I like its propensity to kick forward. You'll see that because of the round design of this hydraulic system, and it's very much operates like a knee joint should, in the fact that it's kicking forwards and backwards. So it's also waterproof, this later version, and they are very reliable. So you would feel confident taking this on holiday or whatever normally, because they are very robust and very reliable, and there's not a great deal to go wrong. I've only had one leak ever, 20 odd years, and that was from an earlier version of this. I also, as I mentioned, have a Ottobock Delta twist. Now this gives you yaw movement side to side on the foot, and also there is resin suspension in there, which damps up and down movement as well. So you do get a nice suspension and movement of the foot. So that's why I like it. It takes pressure off your hip, because this joint down here is taking some of that pressure by its movement. Okay, so I'm going to do an experiment with this leg, the plain one, and this leg for me. This leg will just give us an idea of what the feet are like, what movements there are without anything else on, and this one will enable me to bench test, hopefully, my perfect foot out of all of these, and make sure it's safe before I actually try it, obviously in terms of health and safety. So those are the aims. I have to say that some of these feet aren't often medically prescribed with this setup, so I will be doing my own prescription on this, and it may not necessarily be what the professionals recommend. Okay, so enough about the knee joint. I'll just briefly tell you how I've grouped these feet for the first test with this standard fixed pylon here. These feet here are mainly wood and metal in construction, and they use a kind of, some of them use a metal bar system that's inside there, some of them use a flat metal system to bend and obviously take movement, and we'll see how these simpler, more basic feet work in the test. I've grouped these 4 feet together here because these feet here rely on rubber or resin for their movement and to make as you walk, flexibility, etc, etc. So they use a mechanism of, as I say, plastic and resin. We'll have a look at each one and see what it does and how it performs. This one's called a snubber and it has a rubber cone, so it kind of does something similar but not quite. So we can have a look at those. These two here are carbon fibre and mainly rely on the action of carbon fibre for their operation, although this one does have has a small resin bit of suspension in there, but we'll see how that performs. This foot here, which as you can see is in a sorry state of disassembly, this has got a titanium spring in it, and we'll have a look at that and see how that works in terms of function and whether it's suitable for me. I've not used one of these before, so I'm interested to see how that works. The reason it's in pieces is because I've just recently bought it second hand, and it had car mineral oil in it, which is a common occurrence for second-hand prosthetics. I've found that incorrect oil has been put in, but thankfully it hasn't damaged anything, so I'm just cleaning that out and we'll reassemble it. And the last foot I've got for testing is this hydraulic one, which is on its own. I don't have any other hydraulic feet, and as I say, I'm interested to see how that performs. That's a mixture of hydraulics and carbon fibre, that foot, and to give its flexibility and performance. So we'll see how that one performs as well. Okay, so that's generally what I'm going for. May have slightly changed from the first video, but it's more of a comprehensive test, and I've worked out what my aim is for this, and that's to find the foot that I'm going to eventually combine. Okay, so in part 3, as it may be, I'm going to have a look at these feet, see how these work, and put them through their paces, literally. Okay, well, thanks for watching. If you're interested in what I'm doing, please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks very much.